we're obviously 12 weeks later here, but at the same time, Quintel Kent in that first game had a monster game for St. Edward, and he was high-flying with that offense going down the field, and you saw him be that versatile downfield threat for the St. Edward offense. And he helped Zero open up that offense as that deep threat, but you also got to keep your eye on Mackenzie Wainwright as well.
Yeah, and Quintel Kent actually this season becoming the all-time leader in regular single or all-time career pass or receiving touchdowns, I should say. Words are hard. The all-time leader in receiving.
Welcome to So What's the Catch on All Sports Cleveland. Every Wednesday from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, James, Josh, Kramer, AJ, Bryan, and the one and only Churk Bezerk get together to discuss a wide variety of topics across the sports world. During these discussions, we let our opinions fly with a dash of comedy. And now, here's your show, So What's the Catch?
Welcome to So What's the Catch here on All Sports Cleveland, and the Browns are dead.
Yes, they are.
R.I.P.
Are they out?
Yeah.
They're done.
Yeah, they're 6-6.
The Steelers lost?
That doesn't matter. It's the Bengals and the Ravens, okay? The Browns are done. They're dead.
I don't count them out.
They're done. Did you watch that game on Sunday?
Did.
Yeah, what part of that said, yes, they're still in it?
My Cleveland spirit.
Okay, what on the field has anything to do with that?
Not too much.
Not too much, unfortunately.
So
I'm with you, though, Churk.
So let's do one word Wednesday, as we always do. What is your one word for that loss on Sunday?
Dead.
Buried.
My one word would be, I'm trying to think of how to combine two words together. I'll do a
Hyphenated.
turnover, no.
Oh, that makes less than 0 cents.
No, you'll see what I mean.
Churk, what's
What about
your
you,
word?
Churk?
Hope.
Hope. Oh.
Okay.
You have hope after that game.
That 16-10 loss inspired hope.
The hope, the loss has made them stronger.
Yeah.
So, oh, Zach, what was your one word?
Pitiful.
Okay, that's a good
All
one.
right. So the reason I phrased it as turnover no is because they got four turnovers, and what did they do with it? Nothing.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, what was it? It was 52 straight games where a quarterback had thrown 4 or more interceptions the team had lost leading up until that game. So 52 in a row until then. That's not a good sign.
No, it really isn't.
Yeah.
And what this is just tells you how much in a bad place this offense is right now, okay?
Yeah.
'Cause, something I've mentioned many, many times on this show has been opposing defenses do not respect Baker Mayfield.
They don't.
You saw it, that the Ravens said, we think he is trash. We're going to put 10 guys in the box because we know he can't complete a pass.
I just don't get it. Like, since we scored 41 against the Bengals.
That was a lie. That was a lie.
Obviously it was, because since then, we have scored all of 30 points in the last 3 games.
I mean,
That's a
Wow.
a 10-point per game average against, and also one of those teams was the Lions. So
That's really bad.
that's really bad.
In 6 of the last 7 games, they've only scored 7 points in the fourth quarter.
you
In
can't.
6 of the last 7 games, they scored 17 points or less.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not going to be a good football team or a winning football team with those kind of numbers.
No, this team is atrocious. And looking at the remaining schedule, they have the bye week. Then they host Baltimore.
They could beat Baltimore again. Get a chance of
Are you
redemption.
kidding?
No way.
That's not going to happen.
Get a chance of redemption.
They played their worst possible game, and we still couldn't beat them. Like, they're not going to play any worse than they just did against us.
Churk, do you really expect Lamar to throw 4 interceptions again?
No, but I could see the Browns winning by a close game.
I can't.
I
I don't think they win
could
another
by a
game all
close
season.
game.
The only winnable game left on their schedule, there's 2 winnable games left on their schedule. Home against Las Vegas in Week 15,
They'll lose.
and then Week 18 at home against Cincinnati. That's it.
They'll lose. They'll lose both those games.
Why are you so
And
pessimistic?
Kramer is here on Kramer time like he always is.
Have you watched them play?
I did.
Have you watched Baker Mayfield look like hot garbage? Because he is.
I have. But I
Okay?
still got hope.
There's no reason to have any hope. Throw it away. It's over.
There you go.
This season is over.
He said, "There you
Gotta
go."
take
Okay.
There you go.
Kramer's here, and I need to know
What?
who was the genius that brought me a bag of whole shebang chips.
That would be Jay.
Ah, ha, ha, ha.
Sounds
Yeah.
about right.
Yeah. So what, Kramer? While you're getting set up, what is your one word to describe?
Familiar.
Familiar. Ouch.
'Cause
Yeah.
It's the same thing every week.
Yeah, I'm at the point now where like literally it feels like I'm back in that 0-16 season, and like with the Ohio State Buckeyes losing and then the Browns losing.
Did they?
With this point of my football season, I'm just out. I'm a spectator at this point. I
Yeah.
have none of my teams are making or doing anything, so I'm out.
I mean,
bummer.
this is not like the 0-16 Browns. This is more like the 2019 Browns.
I told you they were the 2019 Browns 2 weeks ago, and you told me no.
I still got hope that they'll be better.
Yeah.
No, there won't.
I've been on that 2019 train. I didn't want to fully believe it. I thought there was still glimmers, but no. This is the 2019 season all over again.
I'm more frustrated this year, though, than I was in 2019. I'm more frustrated this year than I was any other season. 2019, I didn't even really have all that much hope. Like, I thought we would be a decent team, but I could tell on paper that wasn't going to be the year people thought it was going to be. I bought in this year. So this is the year that really affected me.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I get totally what you're saying, and I'm in the same boat where 2019, I'm like, yeah, okay, we made all these great moves, but is it going to work on paper? After what we did last year, going 11-5, beating the Steelers in Pittsburgh for the first time in like 17 or 18 games, taking Kansas City to the wire. Granted, Chad Henne had to come in because of Patrick Mahomes' injury, but to do that and then just come out blah, it's like...
It's a matter of expectations. And anytime you put expectations on this team, and specifically Baker Mayfield, they don't live up to them, right? When we went into the season last year, into the COVID season, none of us really had all that much hope because it was such a weird season and the things that had gone on. And then with very little expectations, they had a somewhat successful season, more successful than we've seen so far. And, this year we come in thinking, we're going to Super Bowl or Super Browns, right, Churk?
Yep, that's Churk's motto.
Yeah,
That is my motto.
I mean, let's look back to how I've described how this season is going to play out this entire time.
Be in there.
Okay, because if there's been one thing, I've been consistent about what was going to happen this year, okay? And that was defenses were going to adjust to the offense that is run. They're going to make Baker Mayfield play left-handed. The problem is he can't play left-handed. He is a one-dimensional quarterback, and when you take away his one thing he does good, he plays terribly. Okay, if he can't roll out, if he can't do the design rollouts, the bootlegs, he's useless. He's too short to be a pocket passer. He's too short to be an NFL quarterback. I'm sorry.
What?
I know
Whoa.
people.
Isn't he like 6'1"?
He is 6 feet tall, my friend, and that's being generous because he's not.
He's really
height, and that's
5'11".
5'11".
Yeah.
5'11".
He's too short.
Drew
Okay.
Brees was 6 foot.
Drew Brees was an excellent tennis player and an excellent feet work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You look at Russell Wilson. He was a shortstop drafted by the Yankees.
Yeah,
Baker
first
Mayfield
round.
is neither of those.
You bring up a good point, though, that I want to circle back to, and that's just that there was like no adjustments. We came in, we had success. They they tailored their defenses around what we were doing, and we've made no adjustments. And that's a coaching issue just as much as it is a player issue.
There's no adjustments to make with him though. You can't do anything.
So
If they have 10 guys in the box, you can't run bootlegs. If they have 10 guys in the box, you can't run play action.
I guess what I'm saying, like when it comes to Kevin Stefanski, he has like 5 play calls when it comes to throwing.
It's fine. I'm not necessarily all that happy with how Stefanski's played out this season, but he's doing all he can with a very limited quarterback.
So you think basically his hands are tied?
His hands are tied because he has to play Baker Mayfield. And you listen to Andrew Berry talk today in his press conference, he's like, he's healthy and we think he's going to go, so he's our quarterback. We're not going to change our quarterback. So
I think they're just saying that.
You think we should
any
put
hope of
him
seeing Case Keenum's not going to happen.
Why is it not going to happen?
I don't
Because
think
Andrew
unless
Berry and Kevin Stefanski said so.
Unless Baker gets so hurt that he literally can't go on the field, he's going to keep playing. And that torn labrum thing, it's become such a...
I'm tired of the injuries. I'm tired
what
of
am
the
I
injuries.
looking for?
Stop using injuries as an
The
excuse.
crutch.
It's become a crutch, yes. The torn labrum has become a crutch because it's so easy for him anytime he has a bad game now to be like, oh, well, by the way, I still have this bad torn labrum. Oh, go get the surgery then and let's take that crutch away.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's just it's a crutch. But you hear every single week, whether it's him, whether it's his most devoted fans, or his wife on Instagram sharing stupid stuff about him being tough. But who cares? Can't score, can't win, but he's tough. That's on the GM Shuffle podcast. I just want to credit him real quick.
I do think he does do the tough guy stuff way too much, where it's the point where it's like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's almost like a facade at this point. But I can tell Zach has something to say about this. What you got?
You think he's like Hulk Hogan?
I got a bunch to say. First of all, I am in no way a Baker apologist. I really don't think he is the guy. But I just want to propose a couple of things to the rest of you guys. First of all, is it Baker Mayfield's fault when the receivers don't catch the ball?
That's a fair point.
Second of all, is it Baker Mayfield's fault that he is, I know we just said don't use injuries as an excuse, and I know he's trying to be the tough guy, but if he is injured, of course he's not going to play as well as he could. Now, should he be playing? That's up for debate, of course, but I just think that this season there have been a lot of poor decisions made, and it starts with the coaching staff and what you guys were saying as well. Other teams have figured out the Browns. They know they can stack the box against our great running backs and make Baker Mayfield be this guy that he's not capable of being. And I think that's what's become the problem, and you saw it in the Ravens game.
Well, it's so obvious with his injury too that if you force him to throw it, things are going to go wrong.
Yeah,
that's what it is. And as far as the receivers drop, that's getting too much. Just passing the torch or passing the buck on excuses. Sure, some of the receivers need to catch some passes. Yeah. But a lot of the passes Baker's throwing are uncatchable balls. I mean, I saw people trying to blame Donovan Peoples-Jones for that one catch on Sunday night. That was a high ball. That was an overthrow. That was a trash throw, and everyone's just like, he should have caught it. But go back to the Odell catch that he didn't make a couple weeks ago when he was still on the team. And they're like, Odell should have caught that, when the ball's 10 feet above his head. Okay, Baker's has missed his receivers time and time again, and that's just what it is. And as far as him, being out there, if he's healthy enough to be on the field and play, you got to expect better performance.
Yeah.
Since he missed the game in Denver, he's completing 56.1% of his passes, averaging just 187.8 yards a game with 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, while being sacked 11 times. His 6.7 yards per attempt is a full yard below his season average of 7.7.
Zach with the rebuttal.
I love it.
Not even a rebuttal. Just let me bring up something. Let's just say that money was no factor with the Browns and with Baker. Because obviously right now it is. He's got a contract situation coming up with either the 1-year extension or a full new contract. And I think that's adding to why he wants to be on the field, because he wants to prove himself to get that contract. But if money wasn't an object at all, I think he would have been like, all right, let me sit, let me get healthy, I don't need to prove anything. And I think that's a big problem, because Baker wants to prove himself. He wants to get that new contract. Of course, we all want a ton of money. Mm-hmm. That's not out of the ordinary. But I just feel like that's what is making this such a huge problem, is the new contract.
It's the contract thing. Let me close real quick because we head to a commercial, and I'll say this before we go to commercial when we come back, is that if his money is his chief and primary concern, he should have taken some time off to get healthy, to play well enough to get a new deal, because right now he is an unsignable player. And with that, we have to go to a commercial.
More Browns talk after this. Stick around.
Take us to commercial, and Churk.
Hey guys, bow season's right around the corner, so get out to PJ's Custom Archery and Lapidary Shop. PJ's make custom bows to fit anyone. They also make takedown survival bows and flint knives as well. Ladies, PJ has custom-made jewelry. You'll find unique, one-of-a-kind bracelets, pendants, earrings, and much more. PJ is a real craftsman with an artistic lair. PJ only uses materials found or made in the USA. So hurry out to PJ's Custom Archery and Lapidary Shop, located at 112 Leonard Street in South Amherst, or call 440-986-0490.
Right now, many families are getting ready for the holiday season, shopping for loved ones, wrapping gifts, and decorating the tree, anxiously awaiting the big day. But for many people, right here in our area, there will be no Christmas presents without your help. Toys for Tots is a top-rated charity with 97% of donations going to providing toys, books, and other gifts to underprivileged children all over the country. While you search for that special gift for your loved ones this year, remember those less fortunate and donate to the Toys for Tots in your area. Visit toysfortots.org to make a donation, find a drop-off location, or to volunteer. After all, Christmas is all about giving. Toys for Tots, helping bring joy to children everywhere at Christmas.
My dad came to live with us last month, and it's going pretty well.
I feel like I never have time for myself.
With him being around more, it really lets us catch up on things.
His memory isn't what it used to be.
We get up and we have coffee.
He usually wakes up at 4:30.
Then we go for a walk.
He needs lots of my attention.
I do need to keep an eye on his medications, though. That's important.
Sometimes I feel like a pharmacist.
I'd say John and the kids are adjusting pretty well.
They honestly have no idea what I'm going through.
It can be a little challenging.
Help.
But so far, so good.
I could really use just a little help.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers for advice, tips, and support. Together, let's help each other better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Churk the Bezerker. You're in the Bezerk box being a hard worker. We got James. Guess what? He knows all the names. Just sit back and relax. You got Unger to the max. This show will never get any lamer, because you can't find anybody as entertaining as Kramer. Now, AJ, he is the true fighter. You'll never meet anybody who is a better writer. In this show, you don't have to worry about lying, because we got a champ, and his name is Bryan. Join us every Wednesday at 2 for authentic personalities, because all we'll just be dishing out is just the realities.
We are back here on So What's the Catch? And as usual, Kramer is getting some audio bleed over into his microphone from his phone.
Kramer is doing Kramer things over there, but
That's okay.
Pretty much.
All right, so it's the bye week. The Browns are 6-6. It's usually a good time to assess some things. So let's put some grades out there.
Let's do that.
So let's start with, what is your grade for the offense? We're going to go position group by position group. So we'll start with the offense, go to defense, special teams, coaching staff, and then overall team grades.
Cool.
So let's start with offense.
Go around the table.
I'm going to go with D+.
F.
F.
F-.
D+.
Churk?
I'm gonna give it a D.
Oh, I'm gonna change mine from F to F+, just because Nick Chubb's the man.
Okay.
Sure.
So
The only reason, though.
all right, so how about defense? I'm going to go F-.
F.
F.
Wait, this is the Browns defense, right?
Yes.
This is an F.
That's
F-.
the thing that actually helped us.
I would say a solid C- because they had those turnovers.
Well, yeah, that's true. They have been keeping us in bad games, but I don't know. It's
If
just
it
like,
wasn't for the defense, that would have been a blowout.
They still stink. They're not going to repeat that performance.
And
Let's
we
be
got
real
the
here.
defensive player of the year.
Let's be generous and give him a D+.
In Miles Garrett.
I'm just saying for my
I'm okay to
grade,
compromise and
for
go to
my
D+.
grade, I'm going with a C-.
I'm still going with F.
Yeah, for the defense, F-.
B.
I'm going low too because of my expectations were so high for them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Not like astronomically high. I didn't think we were going to be the best defense in the league by any stretch, but I thought we had some really solid players on that side of the ball that were going to, make some plays. And I don't know. It's just been a terrible unit.
I was hoping for them to settle in somewhere middle of the road defensive-wise. I thought that was a realistic expectation.
Yeah.
They are still a bottom 5 defense. They are absolutely terrible.
Yeah, it's kind of unbelievable when you look at it on paper too. It's like on paper the defense isn't bad. It's not.
That's why they play the games, though.
I know, but
they have
that's
nice pieces.
That's what my point is. Is like this to me. The defense is it's a coaching thing.
Some of the pieces on paper, sure. I mean, their defensive line outside of Garrett is terrible.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
They shouldn't have let Olivier Vernon walk. They shouldn't have let Sheldon Richardson walk.
That's a spot though, really specifically where I was talking about the lack of adjustments.
Yeah. There's another thing that teams are adjusting on though. Like Myles Garrett has proven that he's human. He's not the best run stopper in the league.
He's a terrible run defender.
Yeah, and teams have learned that about him, and they're starting to run design plays towards Garrett, knowing
exactly.
And it's like when your best player on the team is being exploited, that really speaks volumes about how bad the unit is as a whole. You know?
Speaking of Myles Garrett, and I've said this many times on various platforms, he's not a LeBron James, and that might not really make sense, but just explaining it, basically, with his position, he can't affect every play, especially like you said, he's not exactly a run stopper.
Right.
So sure, he's going to get his sack a game or a little bit more than a sack game or whatnot, but that's one play.
Yeah.
And there's a whole football game that is played. So what I don't really like about how fans just adore Myles Garrett is that he can only do so much.
Yeah.
And it's not like he plays quarterback like Baker.
Right.
Or even a wide receiver, running back that have the ball in their hands a lot. I just feel like he can only do so much.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think a major difference
Would
between...
you compare Myles to Bruce Smith?
No. Anyway.
I think a major difference between last year and this year with Myles Garrett as far as his performance, yes, he's obviously doing much better in the sack department.
Yeah.
Sacks are nice, they're great.
Mm-hmm.
He's not causing turnovers at the rate that he did last year.
No, he's not.
That was the difference in so many games last year, is that it would just be a Myles Garrett strip sack.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Browns get the ball to the team's 30-yard line, and they'd be able to convert that into points.
Yeah.
Even though if they're getting the ball wherever they are, I mean, we saw on Sunday, doesn't matter where they got the ball, they weren't getting any points.
Yeah.
But
my issue
with game-changing plays were almost a weekly occurrence, and they're just not happening.
My issue with expecting Myles Garrett to save this team is this exact same thing you're already saying. I just want to echo that. Yeah, he can't win a game. You know,
No.
Myles Garrett can make his own stats look good, and he's going to continue to have good stats, and he's going to continue to look like a good player. But he can do that without winning a game. He can do that without helping. The rest of the team can look horrible, and still Myles Garrett look good.
I think you make a good point when you said people should stop comparing Myles Garrett to LeBron James, in that when you look at basketball, there's only 5 players on the court per team. So there's more room for one player to make a big impact like that. Whereas on a football field, there's 11 players. One player isn't necessarily going to make a difference unless you're somebody like a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning, somebody like that.
Myles reminds me of when you go back to those seasons where we were horrible, 0-16, 0-1, and you maybe had that one player that was somewhat decent, so you hung all your hopes on that one guy.
That's
Josh Cribbs, or many others, but that's who I compare him to.
If you're going into that era, there's a couple players I can think off the top of my head. You look at Duke Johnson, you look at a guy that's currently on the team now, David Njoku, he stinks. Joe Schobert was fine, but he wasn't really good. Demarius Randall's another one. It's just guys that are
TJ Ward.
TJ Ward was better than those guys.
Who's the guy who went to, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but the defense player we traded to Pittsburgh.
Joe Hayden?
Joe Hayden. That's another defensive. That was a star, but nobody else was good, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I absolutely feel like a defense is a complete unit. It takes all 11 guys, kind of like what Josh was saying. And here's a question, speaking of Myles Garrett and this Baltimore game, were you guys cool with what he did after the Lamar Jackson touchdown, where he kind of went up to him and dabbed him up? Because, like it or hate it, that was talked about by everyone, and people noticed it. So even if you think, it's a cool sportsmanship thing or whatnot, it was talked about. So I just want your opinions on that.
So with that, it's that was an amazing play by Lamar. I'm not going to take it away from him. But at the same time, I said this to end the segment last week, and I'll say it again here, and I'm sure one of you guys will probably rip me up one side and down the other, but I'll still say it anyway. For me, Cleveland-Baltimore is a bigger rivalry at this moment than Cleveland-Pittsburgh?
Yes,
Stop
thank
that.
you.
Stop that.
Stop
Stop
it.
that.
The Ravens
Stop.
were the Browns at
No.
one point.
Stop.
It doesn't
At-
matter.
I'm just
It
saying
doesn't.
at the,
Never will be.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying historically. I'm
Ray
talking
Lewis
about
would've been
right
It's
on
still not.
our
It's
team.
still not.
Jonathan
Both
Ogden
teams.
would've
Moving
been
on.
our team.
Hold on. Both
Jamal
teams could be.
Lewis would have been on our team.
Churk, stop it. Both teams could be
would've won a
0-7
Super
going
Bowl.
into Week 8, and the Steelers-Browns game is the most important game on the season. It's on the
100%.
schedule.
Historically, I would agree with you.
It doesn't matter. Always. From now to the end of time, always. And as far as your question was, who cares? That's the real answer, is who cares? It's a nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it because it's like when you look at what the media does to some players, and a guy like Myles Garrett, when you look at the situation that occurred with Pittsburgh with him and the helmet and that whole thing, it's like, okay, well, now
that's
you're
something.
that's something real, and you're attacking a guy like for doing something like that, and then he tries to reestablish his image because Myles Garrett, by all accounts, is a good guy.
Yeah.
He made a mistake, and now it's like he shows some sportsmanship, and then all of a sudden it's now he doesn't care about winning, and it's just like what can you do to make anybody happy at that
It's just
point?
moving the goalposts.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
you're constantly moving the goalposts, and that's why I have a whole problem with that. Like you said, it was talked about. Everybody was talking about it, and it's like, man, just let these guys live a little. You know what I mean? It's like not every single thing has to be blown up into like this big.
Right.
Just
And
to
it's
answer
like-
your question, though, Brian, what can they do? They can win.
Yeah.
That would change
Winning cures
everything.
everything. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
And
they
just
tie?
to quickly give my own opinion to my own question, I agree with what all of you said, and I just feel like, was it a big deal? No, not at all. But was it something that I would prefer him to not do? Yes, because A, it wouldn't be talked about, and B, because you don't necessarily want to be high-fiving and
Praising the
chilling
opponent.
with the other team, especially a rival, like Josh said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Alright, so-
again, just not a big deal.
So real quick, we're running out of time here. Real quick, just everyone say their grade for special teams.
C.
F.
D.
C minus.
D.
Churk.
I'll give it a C minus.
Coaching
Okay.
staff.
D minus.
D plus.
D.
D minus.
D.
Churk.
I'll give it a D.
Overall,
Even Churk.
overall team grade.
D.
F.
F because of expectations.
D minus again.
D minus.
Churk.
I'll give him a C.
Okay.
I mean, I look at this team. They're a complete failure.
Yeah. I mean,
100%.
It's still not the end of the season yet.
They're 6-6.
They're 2.5 games back in the division. They hold 0 tiebreakers against
Two and
every
a half games. I mean, that means that they just need to win.
There's 5 games left, Churk. This isn't like there's 10 games left. There's 5 games. They're
let's
2.5
say they
games
go
back
3-2. Let's which will be very tough to do. Let's say they go 3-2.
Yes,
Do
let's
they
say they
make
go
it?
3-2.
No, they don't.
They don't,
would
because of
not
the
win
tiebreakers.
They would not win the division. They hold 0 tiebreakers over every team ahead of them.
Yep.
So they are up against it. The season is over.
Yep, mail it in.
Yeah.
It is over.
Unless they get real hot and
Thank you.
somehow win out, they're done.
Yeah,
And-
which
and
they're not
isn't gonna
doing.
happen.
If they win
It's not gonna
4 out
happen.
of the next,
I mean, what are even the
Okay, so-
percentages on that? It's like 9%
Yeah.
now.
Okay. Let's say they do win 4 out of 5.
That's still not enough.
It's still going to be very, very tight.
Even if
Like,
they went 5-0 down the stretch,
It's going to be rough.
they
Yeah.
probably still don't make it.
We need a lot of people to lose.
And
unless they win the division.
going
yeah.
to
11-6 is not good enough to make it.
We need
It's
people
not.
to lose.
going to the what you love to look at, which is Vegas. The odds are not out for the remaining games, but I will bet you that the Browns will not be favored in any of their remaining games.
They probably won't. They have the second hardest schedule remaining of any other team.
Yeah.
And so that's not going to do them any favors. But with that, we had to head to a break. We come back. Baseball is heating up and coming to a close.
still Super Bowl.
This is the sound of a flat-screen television hurled off a building. Now the new bike your kid wants. These are the things you could have, all cast into oblivion. Because when you throw away money on wasted electricity, you throw away everything you could have bought with it. Use Energy Star light bulbs and appliances, and you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Hello, and welcome to today's lottery drawing. good luck. And here's today's winning numbers. First one up, it's not yours. Second one, not yours. And another number that's not yours. Okay, this is one number that's yours. It's a 5, but you don't get any money for that. And the final number is not yours.
Yep, so chances are you're not going to hit the lottery anytime soon. Don't get us wrong, the lottery can be fun every now and then. Just please don't rely on it for your future savings. How about this? Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte every day. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering in. Ride your bike instead of buying all that gas. These changes alone can save you thousands a year. Thousands. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feed that piggy bank. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
7,000 high school students drop out every school day. If you stack their desks one atop the other, it's a pile more than 17,000 feet high. That's 12 Empire State Buildings. But what's truly scary is that another stack is going up tomorrow. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step. Brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
We are who we thought we were. So what's the catch on All Sports Cleveland?
All right, we are back, and we're talking baseball. And let's just preface this with honestly, the big story that's, about today. In 9.5 hours, there's going to be a lockout in baseball.
Yeah. Pretty much. It's inevitable at this point.
It's pretty much guaranteed to
Explain it to me, because I didn't know. I'm so tuned out on baseball.
All right, so
now.
The collective bargaining agreement between Major League Baseball and the Players Association expires at 11:59. They have not agreed to a new one. And so because of that, everything as far as signings, players getting traded, any type of roster moves, freezes.
Complete work stoppage.
Lockout?
So we're going to have, what was that?
Another lockout?
It's going to be a lockout for baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be settled by spring training?
No.
It's going to mess up MLB The Show.
And no, it won't mess up the video game.
Yeah, the video game will be fine.
The rosters aren't going to be correct.
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying.
Those can be updated.
Those can be updated in 3 seconds, though.
Right.
But there's going to be a lockout, and because of this lockout, we've seen a flurry of moves. Okay?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to pick a team that has won free agency, I know winning free agency is never like the end-all be-all. Which team won free agency, in your opinion?
Mets.
I'm actually going to go with the Tigers.
Tigers?
I have no clue.
I'm going Mets.
Mets.
Yeah.
Mets are a close second for me, but for some reason, I loved Javi Baez with the Tigers.
So you're taking Javi Baez and middle of the road Eduardo Rodriguez over Max Scherzer, Starling Marte, Mark Canha.
Those are nice pieces on paper, but the Mets have had a tendency of, oh, look at us, we have all this hoopla and all that, and then they do nothing.
Right, but the question...
This is the first time this has ever happened. Calm down.
Yeah,
Uncle Stevie bought the team.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
decided,
this is
you know
the
what?
first time.
I'm going to show you guys what the richest owner in baseball is, okay?
Yeah.
He bought the Pointing Man statue. He's got sharks and formaldehyde. He's going to be like, you know what? I'm spending on baseball players now.
Yeah.
So, I'm just going to... That's why I'm not ready to say it's the Mets. I want to... It's nice on paper, but let me see it first. I'm in a holding pattern with that.
Okay. Zach?
I got to say the Mets as well, and just kind of to refute what my buddy Josh just said, the question was who won
free agency,
not what it's going to be like.
So what does it look like right now?
Yeah.
Right. Without knowing how it's played, how does it look?
Right.
That's true.
Looks pretty good for the Mets. So the only other real team you could really argue is the strange Texas Rangers moves.
Yeah.
I mean, they spent $500 million over the weekend.
Unreal. It's just unbelievable the amount of money that they threw at those guys.
They signed 2 guys that play shortstop, Marcus Semien and Corey Seager.
Right.
They also added Cole Calhoun.
Mm-hmm.
And they signed somebody else. I can't remember who it was.
John Gray.
Thank you.
What about the move?
I don't know why he went to somewhere else where he's going to get teed off on, but that's his business, not mine.
What about the moves by the Seattle Mariners, though?
What did they do? They got what? Adam Frazier?
Yeah, they got And they signed the reigning Cy Young winner, Robbie Ray.
Oh, man, if there's a guy that's destined to fall off a cliff, it's that guy.
Do you think that these moves... So we were just talking about the Rangers and the Mariners. Yeah. So do you think that these moves are enough for them to somehow catch the Astros in the AL West?
They're not really, as far as, I don't know what the Mariners are doing, because, Jerry Dipoto is a wild card. You never know what he's going to do. That guy, if that guy can get involved in a trade, he does it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what Jerry Dipoto does. But as far as the Rangers go, they're not concerned about catching them on the short term. These are long-term moves.
Yeah.
That's why they signed them to deals that are so long.
Mm-hmm.
It's about having stability in place.
Notice that I didn't specify when they would catch the Astros. I just said, do you think that these moves are enough for them to catch the Astros?
I mean, it's a long-term thing for the Rangers. So what I compare it to is back in the day when the Tigers went and they overpaid for Pudge Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Okay, they needed a stability guy, a guy there to be like, that guy's going to be here for when we get good. We suck right now, but when we get good, he's still going to be here because we're going to have him under contract.
Right.
That's what the style of these moves are.
I'm sitting here looking at all the offseason moves that happened, and
we lost Roberto Perez too to free agency.
Definitely the Mets, I gotta say now.
It's the Mets, right?
Yeah, I mean Starling Marte, a few others, definitely the Mets.
Meet the Mets.
And one other interesting thing you noticed there is Corey Kluber going to Tampa Bay, 1 year, $8 million. The Indians looked like they were pretty smart when they let him go right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They won that trade when they sent him to Texas. As far as the immediate returns on it were terrible, let's be honest here, because Emmanuel Clase got hurt, then he got popped for PEDs. But he's one of the best relievers in baseball right now.
Yeah, and there was obviously, if we held on to Kluber, it was just going to be injuries after injuries. And
I mean, he was all right with the Yankees last year, threw a no-hitter. But him going to Tampa, I think, is a great fit for him. He's only going to have to pitch 5 innings, if that, a game.
Right.
And then they can just turn it over to their, I guess, nonstop pitching factory of a bullpen.
It's
for the most part, once a player leaves one of my home teams, I don't care anymore. Kluber's one of those few guys that, for whatever reason, I still have some stake in him.
So, well, what's the answer at catcher for the Guardians moving forward?
I
with
don't
Roberto
know.
Perez going to Pittsburgh.
So starting catcher Austin Hedges. And just so everyone knows, they have made 0 major league additions to the roster so far, heading up against the lockout. So not a great look for them, especially when they're going through a name change, a rebrand, and trying to sell merchandise and sell off a new name.
Ownership doesn't care about winning.
No, the Dolans just flat out don't care.
And this comes after they said they would spend money. Guess what they have done? Nothing. They signed Sandy Leon to a minor league deal. So backup catcher, Sandy Leon.
Yay! Not.
Oh, dang. Yeah, it's embarrassing. I just don't get it. I wish that, like I'm pretty excited about the Penguins being purchased by the Fenway Group, and I just wish something would happen like that for the Guardians moving forward, because our ownership as it stands right now is not interested in bringing a World Series to Cleveland, in my opinion.
Just the one good thing that the Guardians, Indians, whatever you want to call them, did is they were able to make that deal with the city of Cleveland and in regards to the ballpark for 15 years and whatnot.
To me, that just speaks about how they're more worried about money issues
than winning.
Yeah, than winning.
Well, just if you think about the Browns and the horrific move to Baltimore that pained everybody, that's not going to happen now, and I was afraid that could be a possibility.
Isn't it still technically a possibility?
Technically, but
because I don't think the state's approved it yet. So
yeah, but I feel like after the city passed it through, it'll probably.
It's just one more obstacle.
Yeah.
Like, yep, locked in. They're here for 15 years. Just one more step before we're there. We're most of the way there.
At least it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, but it's hard to get too excited about it. I guess what my point being, it's great that they're staying here, they're not leaving. I would be really sad if they left. Yeah. But it's hard to get real excited about it when they're not making any moves.
They're doing nothing.
Yeah, and then when you let a guy like Roberto walk, it's just...
I mean, they were never going to pay him. He's a nice guy. He's a great defensive catcher. Yeah. But, man, he is a liability in play.
Other than...
Yeah, but Austin Hedges is worse than him.
Other than Jose...
cheaper.
Yeah, he's a lot cheaper, though. That's
Other
true.
than Jose Ramirez, who is there on this team?
You look at Franmil Reyes.
Yeah.
You look at Ahmed Rosario. Miles Straw. Miles Straw, big Miles Straw guy.
Yeah, me too. I like Miles Straw. That was a nice
forget about Josh Naylor, who's coming back from his horrific leg injury.
Yeah, we don't know what he's going to look like coming back from that, but fingers crossed, because he was really putting together some really good games right before that injury, and it was a huge bummer.
Then I don't know who starts at second base on opening day. It's probably going to be either like Andres Jimenez or one of the other 1,000 middle infielders they have.
Yeah.
First base is also a question mark, because I am not a Bobby Bradley guy. I think he's
he's a designated hitter, I think.
He got off to a hot start, and he's kind of lived off of that. You know, he came into the big leagues and got off to a real hot start, and then just lived off of that. You know, and people just keep thinking that they keep waiting for him to go back to that, and it's like that's not sustainable in baseball. Like
modern day Russell Bryan is what he is.
That's actually a really good comparison.
He's going to hit about 220. He's going to give you about 25 home runs and strike out 250.
Yeah, now that you bring that name up, it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
That's what he is. I mean, sure, that lives, and you can do something with that, but if you have a whole bunch of guys on your roster like that, like they've had, it sucks.
He was the guy that we were supposed to be really excited about. You know, like they were really pushing him as being a guy, you know, and it just didn't pan out that way for him.
You look at other options internally, who are you going to turn to? Yu Chang? Yu Chang stinks.
Yeah, he's terrible.
I mean, when you look at it, look at what the Atlanta Braves did. They lost their best player. Did they sit on their morals? No. They went out, they acquired Jock Peterson, they got a bunch of other dudes, Jorge Soler, they got Eddie Rosario, and they ended up putting it all together, and they won the World Series.
I believe the phrase you were looking for was rest on their laurels.
Yes. Yes, that's the phrase I was looking for. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I've said it before.
He said morals. Morals with an M.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. As ridiculous as it sounds, Ronald Acuna Jr. was the best thing to happen to the Braves this past year. Getting hurt was the best thing to happen to them. Because they would not have addressed their outfield positions.
Yeah, that was bizarre how well it worked out for that organization.
But the reason I'm bringing that up is because, the Braves, when that did happen, they went out and said, okay, we're not resting on our laurels.
There you go.
We're not morals.
There you go.
Buy me some Coke.
Sorry, the Jinx machine is out of order. So now you had to pay me $0.25. Sorry.
Oh, goodness.
But still, why can't the Guardians do the same thing?
Well, I'll just say that, are we surprised that the Guardians aren't spending money? I mean, just look at the history with this ownership.
Right.
I'm never
It's
surprised.
not a surprise at all.
No.
We shouldn't be anymore.
God, I wish they would sell.
I mean, I look at it, I'm not necessarily surprised, but it's a really bad look when, they could have got some goodwill from the fan base, being like, hey, look, we said we're going to spend money, we're going to spend some money.
Yeah.
We're going to get some actual players on the team, not minor league deal for Carlos Gonzalez or Hanley Ramirez.
I was shocked when they came out and said they were going to spend some money, and then they haven't. So.
The fact they haven't isn't surprising. It's just the fact that they said they were going to.
Was shocking, yeah.
If you're a Guardians fan, I think the only thing you can hope for at this point is for them to sell to somebody who's going to keep them in Cleveland and actually spend some money.
Yep.
I think the only real way that you're seeing an infusion of talent on this team, it's going to be trades. And I think one team that we already mentioned in this section here is prime trade candidate, trade partner for the Guardians is the Mets. Okay? They got Mark Hanna. They added Eduardo Escobar as well. They have an excess of guys. J.D. Davis, Dom Smith, Jeff McNeil. No one's going to take Robinson Cano, so they're stuck with him.
Yeah,
but,
bad situation
another guy
contract-wise.
Brandon Nimmo's another guy that they could look at. You look at those type of players.
Yeah, there's some players on the table there that are going to get grabbed up by somebody.
They're controllable. They're not expensive.
Right.
It's right up their alley, honestly.
Yeah.
As far as free agents go, I'd love to see him sign like Kyle Schwarber, but it's not going to happen.
I mean, just think about how bad attendance is going to be this year.
It's always bad.
Yeah, it's always bad, but
even worse.
Yeah, even worse.
What's crazy?
There are a lot of people, real quick, there are a lot of people that will not attend games because of the name change.
That's
and
crazy.
Maybe that's being stubborn on their part.
Yeah.
But I think that's definitely a factor. And the attendance was already bad, like you said.
Yeah.
Right, you can't dismiss that. And I'll just make this final point before we go to commercial land. Whenever you look at Progressive Field, the first two tiers always seem to have some fans, some games have bigger crowds than others. But that top tier, like, when I go to games, I look around and I'm like, I don't see anybody. But Churk, take us to commercial land.
You might know me, I'm 50 Cent. You may follow my tweets, my Facebook friends. Odds are fewer than 6 degrees separate us. We're that close. What's crazy is 1 in 6 don't know where their next meal is coming from. These are your co-workers, your neighbors, your friends. Hunger's too close for us to ignore. So visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank to see how you can make a difference. From one close friend to another, let's do this. I'm 50 Cent, and together we are Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Right now, nearly 30% of U.S. students aren't finishing high school. In many places, it's even higher than that. And fixing it is a responsibility that we all share. This is President Obama, and I urge everyone to take responsibility for encouraging the high school students in your communities, to support them, challenge them, and do whatever it takes to help them make it through.
Do your part by going to boostup.org and giving a student the boost that's needed to make it to graduation. A message from the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
You and your family are connected by routine, and you stick to it. But what if a disaster strikes without warning? What if your day's routine is disrupted and you can't reach your family? Have you planned for that?
We feel a lot like Rodney Dangerfield because Cleveland gets no respect. Oh well, welcome back to So What's the Catch?
Is Cleveland getting some respect?
Oh. Wait, we're already back?
Oh.
Churk, we went to commercials for 1 minute.
Can we have...
No, it's fine. We'll go now. But
all right.
The first chirking of the show. It's the first chirk we've had.
Yeah, I guess we're already...
We went off at 42. It's 45 now.
We went off at
43. There's no way that was 3 minutes. That was the shortest commercial break of all time.
That is
serious. That was 3 minutes.
All right, well, we're back already. So we are talking Cavs. They have won 2 straight games. They are 11-10 on the season.
Come on.
And now tonight they go to their House of Horrors. It's now FTX Arena, formerly known as American Airlines Arena, down in Miami, Florida. The Cavs have lost 20 straight games in Miami. Let me say that again. 20. 2-0.
Well, we're due.
Yeah. I guess that's one way to put it.
We are super due.
But...
Chetty Osman and Churk's guy, the real D Wade, are both going to be unavailable tonight.
Oh man, what are we going to do without Dean Wade?
Oh no!
This is a good Cavs team though.
Yeah, we are good. I just looked this up. We're 8th in the Eastern Conference, so we would not be in the actual playoffs if the season ended today. If the season, we would be in that play-in tournament, which by the end of November, I was not expecting the Cavs to be 8th and in that position. And I think December's going to be their hardest month on the season. And if they're able to get through this and be above 500,
they won't. But
I think more
they're
the
legit.
second half of the season's gonna be the hardest time for the Cavs.
So here's the thing: is I've noticed you're doing this. I see a lot of people do this on the internet and Twitter as well. They're overreacting to the early NBA season. Okay, the NBA season really doesn't begin until after Christmas. You shouldn't be paying attention to anything standings-wise until after the Super Bowl.
True.
It's a fair point, yeah.
Just one point. Has there ever been a streak as long as 20 games that a team has lost on the road to?
I'm not sure. That's got to be up there. Yeah, that's a good question. That's got to be up there on one of the longest streaks.
Because that is just, when you think about it, that is just,
that's years.
No matter whom it is, this is the NBA. These are NBA teams competing against each other. That should never happen.
Right.
And then just to add on to that, Josh, you said the Cavs are good. I would like to say, what is your definition of good? Because I would say they're more of an average team.
So I think before the season, most of us, I went out on a limb a little bit by predicting for them to win 30 games. I didn't go over. I didn't want to go under, so I said right at 30. But I think most of the media and many other fans were saying, okay, this team's not that great on paper, so they're going to win anywhere between 20 to maybe 25 games. And they're already 14 games away from being at that point.
So that makes them an improved team, though.
Yeah, that makes them an improved team, but because of where they finished last year, which was not very good, to already be at 11 wins at this point, and I get it, it might be a little early to look at standings, but foo to you.
On Josh's side, I would definitely rather have an 11-10 start.
Yeah, then
versus something else like a 4-16 or something.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
And James, I remember when you were saying how Sexton out for the year was. You said it was like a.
Is a blessing in disguise? Am I right?
Yes, you are right.
Subtraction, right?
Yeah.
It's addition by subtraction.
I don't think Colin Sexton's a good basketball player. And as far as this team goes, I don't think they're good. I think they're kind of average right now, okay? Comparing them to last year, they're only one game better in the win-loss department than they were last year. And then they fell off a cliff.
Oh.
Okay? So I'm waiting until make some actual good judgments to say they're definitively good, definitively bad.
You could still be on that 10th seed.
Until later in the season.
Yeah.
Because I've seen them play very poorly at times. I've seen them play very good at times. Okay.
Yeah.
But they were 10-11 after 21 games last year. They're 11-10 this year. I'm not going to act like they're leaps and bounds better than they were last year.
That's a really good point.
Yeah,
Only
but
one
let
game
me
difference is shocking.
Right. So I'll give you that, but let me address something. If you look at that 4-game homestand we just had, Golden State, Brooklyn, Phoenix, Orlando. Yes, we only went 1-3 on that homestand. But when we played the Warriors, we were hanging with Golden State for about 3.5 quarters. 5.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. We had a 22-9 lead on Steph Curry and the Warriors. Okay? And then we only lost by 4 to James Harden and Kevin Durant. And then we took Phoenix right to the wire, and you saw what Phoenix was last night. They're now on a 17-game winning streak. So I think that in itself is an improvement. They're not getting blown out by these quote-unquote superpowers in the NBA. I think Cavs teams in the past would have gotten absolutely destroyed by Golden State, Brooklyn, Phoenix. They probably would have even lost to Orlando. So for them to be hanging right with Golden State, where their depth or lack of depth caught up to them, to be only losing by 4 to Brooklyn, to be right there with Phoenix, the defending Western Conference champion, that in itself is giving me good, positive vibes.
Right, but the one thing you said was lack of depth. And that's not just an issue in that one game. That's going to be an issue for the entire season, and that's going to catch up to them sooner than later.
Well, not as much now, because when you look at that Golden State game, we had Jared Allen out, we had Lauri Markkanen out, Kevin Love had just come back, Lamar Stevens was injured. I don't think Chetty Osman played in that game. We're now Evan Mobley was out.
Yeah, Mobley was out.
Now we're getting these guys back. So so in that sense, again.
And just imagine who we're going to get throughout the season, too.
There you go.
So here's the thing. You're talking about that Warriors game, okay? You're glossing over a very important fact in that game.
Steph Curry was off?
No. The fourth quarter. Do you know how badly the Cavs were outscored in that fourth quarter?
Yes, I know. We only got 8 points that quarter.
36-8.
That's terrible.
Okay.
That is terrible.
That's terrible.
Is atrocious. They only made 2 field goals in the fourth quarter. Okay. So
2 field goals in the entire quarter.
That's field goals.
So bad.
The other 4 points
so bad.
came on free throws.
Look,
my goodness.
So while that game seemed somewhat competitive for most of it, that is just a huge glaring, they are missing a lot, and they're not quite up to par to be even really competing on a regular basis with good teams. Okay, is that 36-8 differential in the fourth, and that lost the Warriors.
Everyone was injured that game, too.
Yeah. Again, I know I said this earlier, you can't use injuries as an excuse, but for that Golden State game in particular, if you have to ride your starters for 40 minutes, they're going to get worn out, and they're not going to be able to produce for you as much. I know I'm sounding like a Cavs homer, but
I'm looking at all this kind of from the outside because the only time I ever got into the Cavs was when LeBron was hot. I was a bandwagon fan with the Cavs, 100% honest. I'm a lifer with the Browns and the Guardians, but I just never really got into the Cavs like that. So looking at this from the outside and not being a basketball guy, I can tell just from like what I have seen that James and Bryan are kind of right in the sense that there's so many teams that'll have good starts and then crash. Okay, and then I don't know. I don't see this as a team that's sustainable, and you do kind of sound just a little like a homer right now.
I can't help it. I cannot help but sound like a homer because the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah, I love the Browns and I love the Guardians, but the Cleveland Cavaliers, I can't even deny this. They are my all-time favorite team, so I will pull for them every day and night. I can't deny that.
I'm like that with the Browns.
What's up, Churk?
No, I was about to say, I think the Cavs could still make like a low-end mediocre playoff spot. Possibly probably get first round and out, but I think they could do it.
I have a real hard time seeing that.
Why do you have a real
really do. I think while Lauri Markkanen has rebounded from his atrocious start, he is definitely going to fall back to reality and shoot under 30% from three.
He's not averaging 15 points per game.
He's not a good player. He's not. I'm sorry. He isn't. Jared Allen's given you some very good production, but he is overachieving.
And what about the people we could get throughout the season, like through trade?
Why are we talking about adding players to this team? You still don't know what you have with most of the guys on this team. This team's like a complete mess, and we're talking about adding guys? They need to evaluate their roster first.
Churk, let me address what you just said, because you're talking about adding players. So you're acting like we're going to be either buyers or sellers, but...
we could trade Lowry.
But
they should have never signed him in the first place.
But here's the thing. Let's say when we get to the trade deadline, hypothetically, we're above 500.
Yeah.
We're in playoff position. I don't want to be a seller and try and get draft picks for somebody like Ricky Rubio. If we can make the playoffs, that's a positive step. Because have you seen how bad the Cavs have been without LeBron? To make the playoffs without LeBron or any superstar, that's a positive step.
Can I tell you a secret? You don't want this team to make the playoffs this year.
I disagree with you vehemently.
You want a lottery pick.
Yeah.
You want a lottery pick. You want
I agree.
a lottery pick.
No.
I agree.
This team does not have enough talent. You want them to absolutely tank. You want them to trade Ricky Rubio for a draft pick.
No.
You want them to, yes, you do.
No.
You want them to trade the rest of their bench and get whatever you can because they are so far away from actually being contenders. You need more good young talent on this team.
Thank you.
Now you're just sounding like a hater.
You need more lottery picks. They don't have enough talent.
Are you basically saying if we go to the playoffs, it's like the Magic going to the playoffs like a couple years ago?
It's like when the Pistons made it, the last time the Pistons made it. Okay?
Or Magic.
Okay, fine. He's
got to get that in.
I was only making my own comparison, but sure, go with yours. But they're not good enough. You don't want them to make the playoffs. You don't want them to make the play-in. You want them to miss and get a lottery pick.
You are wrong on that one.
Can I just say
the Wizards went to the play-in and they got a pick.
Zach, I just want to add this. In this NBA, you need a superstar if you want to contend. It's not like football where it could be like a team core sort of thing. These Cavaliers, like you've been saying, are just not good enough. They don't have that superstar. And while they've had flashes where they've looked good. They've won some games. And I know Josh loves the Cavs, and I can't blame him for being a little excited. But yeah, they're not going to be a team that can contend for a championship, and I don't even think they can make the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, and I think that missing the playoffs is the best possible thing that can happen to this roster long term.
And we got talk about the long-term perspective. Not now. Don't be a prisoner of the moment.
Yeah, you know they're not going to win a championship this year.
I'm not expecting
And with that, we gotta take it to commercial land. So Churk will be going berserk.
All right.
All right. Hour 2 when we come back.
It's already getting weird to start off.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So talk back here. You can do it if you try.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Would you trade $10 to get almost $10,000 in gift cards redeemable at hundreds of places around town? Of course you would. And how incredible would it be if a portion of that $10 was used to support some amazing nonprofits? Nonprofits like Awakening Angels, Beautiful Faces, Easter Seals. These nonprofits and more. You get to save money and nurture your community. Join us today at unitethisscity.com and embrace what makes our community different.
Hour 2 on So What's the Catch is when things get weird. Here on All Sports Cleveland.
It is hour 2 here on So What's the Catch? All Sports Cleveland.
Let's get weird.
Let's get weird.
It's hour 2. We're getting weird. College football playoff rankings. Not NFL talk, Churk. Come on.
Nope, not at NFL yet.
Talking college?
Yes, we are talking college, and what we are going to do is, I know the actual playoff rankings got revealed last night, and we'll discuss that. But first, I want to go through and give like our top 4 or top 5, however many you want to do, and then we can compare them. Sound good?
I guess. I mean, I don't really want to do it, but I guess.
Does anybody have anything that's like much different from what the actual rankings are? Let's just start there.
I mean,
because if you have it the same as what the rankings are, then obviously there's no.
I mean, you know I do.
I know. I think you might be the only one. Is my point.
Yeah.
That really has anything too different. So why don't you start off, and then we can tell you whether or not we agree.
So I have Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Oklahoma State 3.
Nope.
Cincinnati 4, Alabama 5. Notre Dame 6, and Ohio State 7.
Who was your number 3?
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State.
Number 3?
Okay,
yes.
Why do you have Alabama out of the top 4?
Right, that's the biggest problem.
That makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Because they've looked way too shaky the last couple games. If you are a top 4 team, you should blow out. Yes, Auburn is your biggest rival, but they have 5 losses on the season. You should be able to blow out Auburn.
It's a rivalry game.
To that point, though, the CFP actually answered questions about this yesterday and said the reason that they jumped Alabama so high was because they felt like Alabama had way more quality wins than the teams that were, Cincinnati or the other teams.
I agree.
So it comes down to those quality wins.
I'm not saying move Cincinnati into the top 3. I'm fine with them being at 4. It's Oklahoma State where I have the biggest problem. They should be in top 3.
But you think Cincinnati's better than Bama, though? Like, you really think that?
That's insane.
Because
that's my main question.
That's where it lands with your rankings.
Because if you have Cincinnati at 4 and Bama at 5, what you're saying is that Cincinnati's a better team than Bama. And I don't think that you believe that.
Based on, again, this is me being prisoner of the moment. I'm not going to deny that. From what I've seen recently of both Cincinnati and Alabama, Alabama's looked a little bit shaky to me. They've been in close games with LSU. They lost a close game to Texas A&M. They looked very shaky against Arkansas. Cincinnati has looked explosive the past couple weeks. So for right now, just for this week, that's why I have Cincinnati ahead of Alabama. If Alabama goes out and beats Georgia in the SEC championship, yeah, I'll change my opinion. But for right now, yes, I have Cincinnati ahead of Alabama.
Can I tell you a secret, Josh? Do you know why they've looked shaky, in your opinion, or closer games? It's because they play in a real conference.
They play in the best conference in all of college football.
They play against real teams.
And rivalry games, you know that rivalry games always are. They're never going to be blowout. Well, sometimes they are blowouts, but the chances of a big spread game being close in a rivalry game are much higher than in a normal game. Rivalry games are always closer than normal games.
Yeah, okay. But Alabama going into that game in the Iron Bowl was favored by 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Alabama is not the same team we saw in the past couple of years, all right? They're not infallible, but they're still, in my mind, at least number 3.
Yeah, they're better than Cincinnati.
Alabama needs to prove it to me.
Okay, riddle me this, Batman. If Cincinnati and Alabama played, who wins?
Cincy.
My goodness, you guys.
It's real easy.
Bama.
You are thinking, yeah. You're way overthinking.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll say it.
Yeah, Alabama would win now.
Let me give my top 4. I basically agree with how the rankings are. I just feel like because Cincinnati hasn't lost, I know it's different because of their conference or whatnot. It's hard to push them behind Alabama, but like we just said, if the two played, I'm going to go with Alabama for sure.
Yeah, so
I just want to see Alabama prove it.
Okay, so does anybody have in your top 4 a team that's not in the regular top 4?
No,
okay.
mine's going to be the exact same as CFP right now.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the first couple teams out. Who do you guys think has the best shot that's on the outside looking in of getting into the top 4?
Easy, Oklahoma State.
Well, you have them at 3, so yeah, you already have them there.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Yeah.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think
because they kind of screwed them this week. By the way, just because their coach left, they're like, well, that goes against them, so we're not going to consider them.
Yeah, it does seem like they've been.
Isn't that crazy though? Just the coaches.
CFP is weird, man.
Yeah. So like Brian Kelly leaves, like, oh no, we're penalizing you because your coach left.
Yeah.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think Notre Dame, because they're idle, because they don't play in a conference, because they don't play in a championship game.
They're safe.
They're safe, and things can unfold in just the right chaotic manner.
Yeah, and it's been a year full of chaos. So that's why I'm in the same boat. I think that Notre Dame does have the best shot of squeezing in, and then I would say OK State behind them. Yeah. Because if they take care of business in the Big 12 title game and they look impressive, then there's going to be a good chance they're going to leap Cincinnati.
So. Yeah, okay, you pretty much just answered my question. My thought was then if Cincinnati beats Houston this week and everything else pretty much plays out as expected, you see I'm still being jumped. Cincinnati's going to lose that number 4 spot.
Unless OK State loses and, well, no, because I still think that. No, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just don't.
I
don't think they're gonna be there. I don't think
either.
Because I don't think they're one of the 4 best teams in the country. I don't think anybody really believes that. And for that reason, it's still part of me feels like they're throwing them a bone by even having them in right now. And it's like they know that.
That's a fair point. I'll give you that.
Because they know conference championship week is coming up, and like there's gonna be some performances that are gonna justify them leaping Cincinnati, and they can at least say, well, we had them in there, So
does anybody actually think Alabama has a chance against Georgia in the SEC championship?
100%.
Sure, why not?
I think the only team that has a chance, honestly. If I look at Georgia, I think the only team built to beat them is probably going to be Alabama.
I mean, I haven't doubted Nick Saban before. Well, I'm not going to start now.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a very real chance, but if that happens,
both teams are getting in.
They're both getting in. Yeah.
Can I tell you a secret? Both are getting in regardless.
Yeah.
No,
probably.
if Alabama loses, they're not putting a 2-loss team in there.
Yes, they will.
Number 4. They'll put them at number 4.
No, that's how Cincinnati gets bumped, my friend.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
If Alabama
Oklahoma State wins, Alabama loses, Oklahoma State will go up to 3. Alabama will be 4. Cincinnati will be sitting
outside looking.
All right, and mind you, I'm not saying I agree with any of this. It's just saying, as we've seen the CFP do what it does, this is what happens.
Well, here's a question for you. Let's say Cincinnati doesn't lose and gets bumped. What's the backlash from people that say, well, wait a second, they didn't lose a game and they got bumped?
James has made a good point about this before, and that's it's going to result in expanded playoffs.
Yep.
And
This is their reason to expand the playoffs.
Yeah.
To 8.
And that's the plan, is they're supposed to be expanding to 12, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But what this is, they'd be like, don't worry, we got you taken care of in a couple years. Don't
Yep.
worry.
Yep.
Worry. That's all it is.
That's all
I'm
this
saying.
is.
Because what I was getting to is that, I don't think Cincinnati ends up in the top 4, but I think the CFP is going to have to answer some hard questions because of that.
Yeah.
And that's their answer right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's going to be well.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But honestly, I almost want Cincinnati to make it, and here's why. So we can end the conversation about teams like Cincinnati being relevant.
Yeah.
I am so
Right.
tired.
Yeah, every year there's an unbeaten team from a non-Power 5. It happens every year.
This has been
It
going on
does.
for almost 20 years now.
Yep.
Okay, going back to the days of Boise State, and then
Central Florida claiming a national title.
Yeah,
like,
and
it's just insane.
I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
These teams don't play real schedules. They don't play real schools. I don't care what Cincinnati did in the bowl game last year, because guess what? That doesn't matter this year.
Nope.
Okay.
No, it doesn't.
Cincinnati, it's fine. You beat your cupcake schedule. You beat your terrible conference. You're not a good enough team.
So
They go to the playoff.
So
I want them to go to the playoff so they get the doors blown off them, so this conversation can die finally.
I wouldn't mind seeing them in the playoffs either way, and
I hope they get in at number 3 and Michigan plays them. That would be great.
Yeah.
I'd love to play
Of course you would
Cincinnati in the
love that.
playoffs.
So, Bryan, isn't it funny that Cincinnati is doing this after I pretty much got off the Cincinnati bandwagon?
Yeah, you did kind of jump off the natty bandwagon, and I still don't quite understand why you're back on it, though.
No, I'm not.
But you just never mind. Never mind.
I'm not back on the Cincinnati bandwagon by any stretch. I'm off of it.
I mean, am I the only one who's tired of the Cincinnati conversation?
No,
I'm
you're
so
not.
Sick of it. Yeah.
I'm not tired.
Yeah, I like the idea of an 18 playoff, just because, like.
James, what are you going to do if they do go to the championship?
Root for them to lose by 90.
Yeah.
Okay, and when they do, I will have a party.
What would you do if they won?
They're not going to win. They're not good
Tell
enough.
me what you would do if they won.
They're not good enough.
Hypothetically.
Not
You'd
only
have to
that,
admit he was wrong.
but not only that, but like there's a very real possibility that Luke Fickell's on his way out at Cincinnati, and everybody knows that. There's a job opening in Notre Dame that looks real nice right now for Luke Fickell.
There's a job
And-
opening at Oklahoma.
He ain't going to go to Oklahoma.
Yeah,
he's a Midwestern guy.
He's a Midwestern guy. He's a Catholic. Like, it's the perfect
going to
fit
Notre
for.
Dame.
He's going to Notre Dame, and the whole team knows it. And so it's going to be interesting to see how that affects them going into this week. They might not even beat Houston.
Conference championship week is going to be so interesting.
if they
this
don't
year.
beat Houston, that makes things really easy
Oh,
for the CFP.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, we don't have to worry about this.
Right.
I mean, and as far as it goes, I've said it before and I'll say it again. You got to think about television ratings.
Yep.
Does Cincinnati drive television ratings?
No.
They don't.
No.
They're going to keep them out because
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, I agree. And then they get to use the excuse one last time. Well, there's only 4 can get in. You know, we should add once we add more teams, this problem will be eliminated.
It's they think the 4 best teams, and it's not necessarily record does not necessarily indicate that sometimes.
Right.
Well,
That's what it is.
will the problem really be eliminated, or is it just going to be?
They're kicking the can down the road. Is what they're
Right,
doing. The
exactly.
conversation goes from the guy teams
think
at
it
5
is.
and 6. Now it's going to be at 9 and 10.
Exactly right. That's what I was going to say.
And then
That's all expanding is going to do.
And then 13 and 14.
I don't know. I think that there's a way to do it. You give every big Power 5. If you win your conference, you're in. So you got 5 automatic bids, and then you have 3 at-large bids.
All right,
There's
so-
not going to be 3 unbeaten teams.
So
there's
it's
going to
gonna
be
be
one that'll get in. So the one we have every year will get in at 8, and they'll get blown out.
So
And it'll be just like it is now, but it solves the problem though, because Cincinnati gets in at 8.
So it's going to be the Power 5 winners, then 3 SEC teams. Got it.
Okay.
Well, no, because they have to. Only the conference winners getting in, and then
The best teams. So I was joking.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, we got that. We got that, James. We got
it
that.
at least provides you with a reasonable, I don't know, when you could just say you win your conference, you're in. I think that simplifies things a lot.
Well, conference championship week is going to be interesting, but Churk, take us off into commercial land, my friend.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Coats for Kids Cleveland has raised over $3.2 million and distributed over 500,000 coats in Northeast Ohio since opening in 1981. Our goal for 2013 is to obtain 25,000 new or gently used coats and raise $125,000 to purchase more coats. We need your help. Your gift of $100 will provide 6 new coats to children in need. Check out our website at coatsforkidscleveland.org for a list of collection locations or to make a donation. Coats for Kids Cleveland, helping to make every child feel warm this winter season.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
You wanted the best? Well, too bad. You're stuck with us. It's So What's the Catch on All Sports Cleveland.
We are back here on So What's the Catch. We got a little bit of breaking baseball news. This is from Jeff Passan.
The Jet.
How many minutes ago was this?
About 15 minutes ago. Players have been told collective bargaining negotiations are done for the day, which essentially means
we have a lockout.
We have a lockout.
Yay!
So, see you in February, maybe? I don't know.
See you in April.
MLB, the show's roster.
Who the heck cares? I'm sorry, but who the heck cares? Anyway, we are moving on to NFL football, and first thing on the docket, Mike McCarthy has tested positive for COVID-19, and he is going to miss the Cowboys game on Thursday night against the New Orleans Saints.
And he'll still take credit of the game.
Big impact or little impact?
Right, James?
It's nothing. This is nothing.
Yeah, I think they win that game.
He's still going to be involved in game planning.
Yeah.
They're still going to be doing all the things that they normally do. He's just not going to be in the building. Mike McCarthy, I don't really think he's a good coach. So you'll see different decisions made by whoever their interim or standing coach
That
is.
would be defensive coordinator Dan Quinn.
Oh, yikes. That's a step down.
If you asked him, James, and interviewed Mike McCarthy, would he say he was a good coach?
If you asked him, of course he would say he was a good coach. But, I mean, if I was also him, I would say I was a good coach, too.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to say I'm a bad coach when you're
that's a
interviewing
good
for
way to
coaching
never
job.
get a job.
And it's also like, hey, I'm the coach of quote-unquote America's team, the Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, not everyone can be George Costanza and just, like, say the Yankees are terrible in his interview and get the job, okay?
All right.
No one can go up to a woman in a coffee shop and say I'm unemployed and live with my parents and get a date with a woman.
Except for me.
My man. Air 5.
So one thing that I want to propose to you guys, obviously if a player of any sport gets COVID, they can't play. But if a coach gets COVID, do you think with the way that things have become virtual because of this horrible disease, do you think there's a way that a coach could be the coach or the play caller from, say, an isolated area? And do you think that will start to happen or be allowed?
I just don't think that sounds very... I get where you're going, but
know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it, but I don't think it sounds practical.
I think there's too many opportunities for funny business happening with that.
Yeah.
Or cheating in one way or another.
Right.
I agree.
I wouldn't put it past the NFL, though, to put like a TV monitor on a robot and have that scooting around.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Yeah, I agree. I think that just there's a lot of things that can kind of go wrong in that. But you'd think with modern technology, like there's ways that you can coach without being there present. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they explore those options moving forward. Like if it continues to affect, for years to come, then yeah, they're gonna start looking for solutions. So,
yeah,
could happen.
Maybe.
Okay.
What else you got?
All right, so the Patriots are taking on the Buffalo Bills in a massive game on Monday Night Football. Any thoughts on this game?
I took the Bills minus. I took them at -3. It's at -2.5 now. But yeah, I think the Bills win that game.
I'm taking the Patriots. I've learned not to go against, much like how you learned not to go against Nick Saban, I've learned the same thing with Bill Belichick. Don't go against Bill Belichick. Just don't do it.
Well, Saban is a Belichick disciple. But as far as Bill Belichick and the Patriots are concerned, they were buried too early by everybody.
Yeah.
One bad year and everyone was ready to bury that team and say Bill Belichick lost it, the Patriots are done. He's the greatest coach of all time for a reason. Okay? They're good.
Yeah, they're good. It's definitely a winnable game for New England, that's for sure.
They're back, okay? Yeah. They had one off year. They tried Scam Newton. It didn't work. But you know what? They got Mac Jones, a much better quarterback, playing kind of like, not to the same level, but similar to early Tom Brady. Okay?
Yeah.
Not really has to do too much. Shorter passes, checkdowns, but he's doing everything right, and that's what matters.
And that defense for New England is amazing. And here's the thing with the Patriots. You talk about how everybody buried them too early. Think about it. They had like 8 or 9 players from their playing on their defense this year who took the season off last year because of COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So they weren't even whole. And then in the offseason, they spend a ton of money. They go out and sign I think they signed Nelson Aguilar, if I remember correctly. But regardless, they signed guys like Matthew Judon. They got Kendrick Bourne. They got Hunter Henry. They got other guys that fit what the Patriots are doing and what New England is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to take New England. I think it'll be a close game, kind of a toss-up, to be honest. I don't really think there's an easy way to pick a winner, so I'll just take New England.
I have New England winning, but I do not envy anyone placing money on this in a bet.
I am surprised that Buffalo is even favored in this game. I think if I had to make the odds for this, I would say they're even. It would be a push.
That's essentially what this is just have the 3-point advantage for being
a home team.
Maybe the Patriots just off momentum.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been on a good winning streak. The Bills have been kind of
I mean, they kicked the crap out of the Browns.
Yeah.
Yeah, 45-7. That game was over in about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not a very good measuring stick, though.
I mean, they've been good since then as well. I mean, like, all their games, they've just been blowing out left and right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buffalo's been shaky, but I just think that this is a game that it's in Buffalo. I like Buffalo in the elements. Josh Allen over Mac Jones in that competition.
I actually met not Josh Allen. I met Mac Jones's parents.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cool. On the flight when I went down to Raleigh to see the Columbus Blue Jackets play the Carolina Hurricanes, Mac Jones' parents were on that flight.
You should be able to get Mac Jones on the show then.
Yeah.
Get Mac Jones in the show.
Call him up. What do we got next?
All right, so now we have the Chargers visiting the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are favored by, I think it is 3, and I think the NFL made a mistake here because they should have flexed this game into Sunday Night Football over Broncos at Chiefs. I know Patrick Mahomes is like the face of the NFL. I think this game has bigger playoff implications. So,
well, do you know what happens if they flex this game into Sunday Night Football? Instead of getting the Bengals, you get the Bungles, and they lose by 30.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't trust them.
Yeah.
Just
you
like
put
you can't trust the Browns,
on
you can't trust the Bengals in prime time.
Right.
I just like the matchup of you got on one side Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Mike Williams. On the other side, you have Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. That sounds like an offensive fireworks display that I would wish the NFL had done it right and put this game in Sunday Night Football.
I'm going to take the Bengals, and simply because of the way they played last week against the Steelers. Shout out to the Bengals for kicking the crap out of the Steelers. I know there's a lot that goes into that.
Shout out.
After
Shout
that
out.
Sunday night, after like Sunday, the way everything played out, there was a part of me that was starting to think like, is it wrong if I start to root for Cincinnati? I mean, they're in Ohio.
Yeah, they're
close.
Ohio, so I don't think so.
You don't root for a division rival ever.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm kind of over. That just goes to show you how much I'm kind of over the Browns, though.
Yeah, you're considering jumping ship.
So you got the Bengals. I'm also taking the Bengals. What about you guys? Anybody taking the Chargers?
What time's this game?
1 o'clock.
Give me the Bengals.
Take the Chargers.
You're taking the Chargers, Churk?
The Browns need to go to the playoffs.
East Coast Chargers is always a losing proposition. East Coast 1 o'clock Chargers, don't do it.
And I'll take the Bengals just on momentum.
All right.
Yeah, the Chargers didn't look good last week, and I'm going to go with the Bengals too.
So
they've been kind of shaky.
All right.
Yeah.
Next thing. All right. Do the Pittsburgh Steelers need to bench Big Ben for the rest of the season?
No.
No.
Nope. They're a team that still has somewhat of a chance for playoffs, okay? Even though they haven't been a good team. But what are their alternatives? Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins.
Right.
Are terrible.
Awful.
At least Big Ben will give you the occasional completion. If not, he'll throw the ball 30 yards downfield and get a defensive pass interference. Okay?
Right.
That's a lot better than what you get out of Rudolph or Haskins.
Extended part of that question: what should the Pittsburgh? What should they be looking to do in the offseason?
Get a quarterback.
Yeah.
But the draft class is so weak. So
right.
Who said draft?
Exactly. So are you looking at a trade?
Free agency trades. Yeah.
Russell Wilson might be available.
I want to see Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is definitely someone that they could acquire. He's definitely expressed his admiration for the city of Pittsburgh.
Or any one of those quarterbacks. And this kind of brings me back to the Browns and Baker Mayfield in a way, in the sense that any one of those quarterbacks, if they had the option, right, would you rather go to Cleveland or would you rather go to Pittsburgh?
They're going to choose Pittsburgh
every one of the times. And that's a reason that it's hard for me, even now, to say let's get rid of Baker. Because we talk about the bad draft class, and okay, so we got to get a better quarterback in trade or free agency. Nobody wants to come to Cleveland.
I've told you my solution before.
But I don't think he wants to come to Cleveland either.
If he gets traded, it's not up to him.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
My solution, for 1 year, as a stopgap, before you either extend him or sign somebody else or trade for somebody else or draft somebody else.
Derek Carr.
It's Derek Carr for 1 year on an expiring deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You dump Baker on some crappy team like the Texans, and you get Derek Carr from Vegas.
Wait, what? Speaking of the Texans, why not try and make a trade for Deshaun Watson?
Oh,
He's
come
going to-
on.
he's going to prison.
Yeah, he's not.
He's going to prison.
I thought he had a settlement, though, on all those.
Yeah, I
At
thought
this
he
point,
did, too.
He's got a settlement. He paid a buttload of money. At
Regardless,
this point,
he
he's
shouldn't be
waiting
playing
for
in the
the.
league
Well,
ever again.
they're waiting to see what the NFL does, and he's probably going to get.
I'd still a hard time. I wouldn't touch him.
I'd rather go 0-17 than have him be my quarterback.
I don't like him either. I'm just saying that.
There are already two individuals in the Browns organization. One's a player, one's a coach who I despise. I didn't want him to be here in the first place. Being Kareem Hunt and Mike Prefer. I don't like either person. I did not like when they acquired either person through signing and signing a coach. So
Right.
I don't want to bring someone who's done stuff
Similar.
in that similar realm. Okay, of
That's
being
fair.
A scumbag.
I think it's going to be a serious discussion, though.
And real quick, just to kind of play off of that, do you have to like the person as a person, or is it about winning in football, and can you kind of separate the two? And that remains to be...
Yes and no, but not when it's an issue like domestic violence.
Not when it's domestic violence.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I agree, I'm just...
No, I get your question,
you.
but that's my answer is that...
There's a line.
Yeah.
There's a line. And domestic violence, sexual predator, genocide.
Murder.
Those are on the wrong side of the line.
Yep.
Okay? And
Pedophile.
those are the
You're-
three things all
You're
three
right
of those
about
individuals.
not liking Kareem Hunt. Obviously, he's done
Sexual
horrible things, but
allegations.
he
Right.
has helped the Browns.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not suggesting that I actually want Deshaun Watson. I was just asking if you think that's a possibility. That's it.
I hope not.
I'm good on Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that. But
Hard pass.
we got to head to a break. We got some college football discussion, including the results of the big game over this past weekend.
Oh, anyone?
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just got invited to the prom. Do you A, meet her date?
I need to see your past date report cards, your driver's license, a list of references, and this hair sample.
B. Help her pick out a dress.
Don't you just love the long sleeves and turtleneck on this pantsuit?
Ugh.
C. Attend the prom undercover.
Mom, what are you doing here?
I'm not Mom. I'm Calvin, the new kid at school.
Or D. Capture her big moment.
Let's take a photo of you two. I'm in the middle.
When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers. But that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Major key alert! Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
Creando conexiones durante la recuperación de un trastorno mental y uso de sustancias pone toda la fuerza de la familia y comunidad apoyándole a usted, ofreciendo apoyo y esperanza. Únete a las voces de la recuperación, fortaleciendo familias y comunidades.
Para información confidencial sobre desórdenes mentales y de uso de sustancias para usted o alguien que conoce, llame al 1-800-662-4357. Patrocinado por el Departamento de Salud y Servicios Humanos de los Estados Unidos.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me. Whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Churk has us all just wanting to rhyme. So turn up the dial, because it's sports talk time. So What's the Catch is back in 3, 2, now.
And we are back, as you heard Kramer say, 3-2 now.
Yes. So before we get to the game, I want to share a little bit of Division II college football stuff.
Yay.
My alma mater, Notre Dame College.
The real Notre Dame.
Yes. The real Notre Dame. Their season came to an end in heartbreaking fashion as they lost to the Shepherd Rams, an old conference rival, on a last-second touchdown.
Tough break for the Falcons.
Yep. So they are out, and their season is over. Sad.
Yep. Wonder what that must be like, having your season be over. I wouldn't know, because my season's not over yet.
Whoa, that's a great transition to the game, which... How the heck are you not wearing Michigan stuff today?
I know. No, I didn't want to come in here and...
I'm still wearing my proud colors.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to rub it in anybody's faces or anything. I'm just so grateful that we won. Like,
should we be playing like Hail to the Victors and all that for you right now?
I don't need it.
This is still an Ohio State show. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I understand my place on the show. I'm one man, and I'm one man with an opinion that goes against probably 99% of our listeners. So no, I'm not going to come in here and make it out. I'm smarter than that. It's bad content. I'm just really grateful we won that game.
On the way up here, I was trying to look on the positive sides of that, and about the only thing I can come up with is that at least I don't have any more stress the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Whatever happens at this point happens.
I
just don't care anymore.
There's something to that because I'm used to our football season being over much earlier, and just the amount of stress that I went through during that game is just, it's mind-blowing, you know, how much you put into it, and I don't know.
Yeah, because if we had won that game, then we obviously win the Big Ten. I would have to say 90% chance, and then go on to just get blown out in the playoffs again.
So I'm sort of impartial to this game. I mean, when I was younger, I was definitely an Ohio State fan, but now it's kind of like whatever. But speaking from just college football in general, isn't it good for the rivalry to have both teams win and not just one team dominate every single year?
I mean, it's good, but when you're a fan, you still don't.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, if you put yourself in like the general position unbiased?
From the unbiased perspective, sure, I guess. But if you're looking for what's probably best for the conference, what's probably best for the perception of the Big Ten, having a team that is like Ohio State routinely get into the playoff is better for the conference than a different team beating them or becoming the champion, because they have even less of a shot of winning it all than Ohio State does.
And also Ohio State, just as a brand for college football, kind of like what you're just saying, for, say, the college football playoff or just ratings in general,
it's going to
they provide it.
So draw people in. I mean, Michigan will too. If Michigan wins the Big Ten title and goes to the playoff, they will draw because they have a big fan base as well.
But not like Ohio State is.
It's
false. That's just unequivocally false.
Yeah, that is false.
Michigan
has a bigger.
They have a bigger
fan
alumni
base than Ohio State.
Yes, 100%. The Alumni Association of the University of Michigan is the largest of any university on planet Earth. Not just in the United States, not just for public schools. They have more living alumni on this earth than any other school. Alumni alone are like so, and then you factor that into all of the other citizens of Michigan who didn't go there that are also
I think
fans.
because we live in Ohio, it feels like
It feels like
Ohio is a little bit bigger than we are.
But to say that they're a bigger brand or they have more fans is just unequivocally false.
Me personally, I would have to say they're about equal on fans.
The brand, I would say their brand size is probably about equal. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I would agree on that.
Better football program, clearly Ohio State at the moment, but
I got a question for you, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
What made you how'd you become a Michigan fan?
I went to school there.
Which is the only answer I accept, by the way. Like,
Yeah,
if you, as an Ohio resident, if you had just been like, I just jumped on the bandwagon.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. Like, if I would have went to Kent State or Toledo, I would have been a Kent State fan or a Toledo fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, to me, it's just it's
alma mater.
Why do you think the last 2 weeks I shared like the Notre Dame
I don't want to hear it,
college?
mister. I got 90 different teams.
To me, yeah, it's just, to me, that's just logical. It's like, what high school football team did you root for when you were young? You only rooted for one, the one you went to. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's a fan of other Big Ten, nobody's following, like, Sierra Canyon, like, I wonder what they're doing this year. Like,
even the bandwagon fans from Ohio that say they or become Michigan fans, mostly it's because they just hate Ohio.
Yeah, a lot of it,
pretty much.
A lot of it's people rebelling and trying to be different, and that it was never about that for me.
But yeah, the fact that you went there, I can respect that a lot more.
Yeah, but no, my sister is a graduate of Ohio State. My stepdad graduated from Ohio State. Like, I have nothing but respect for the program and the rivalry. But when people talk about the size of, I just want to make sure we get the facts straight, is all I'm saying.
Look at you.
Just want to make sure we get the facts straight, because sometimes that's all we've got is history.
Well,
so I'm very, very, the history of the program is, I've held on to that for the last 9 years, because that's all I've had to hold on to.
Well, this game you had Hassan Haskins to hold on to.
Right, yeah. So finally the tide turned, and, they came out and they dominated, and they won a game that they played a better game than Ohio State.
They should have won. I felt scared when I came in. We had 19 players out. It was a record for us. And Master Teague, a lot of our playmakers weren't there. And you definitely played better. Like, even putting the injuries aside with what was on the field, you played better. So it is what it is.
Yeah, obviously I'm really, 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 really happy with the fact that we won the game. But I'm not crazy. I'm not here to say that Michigan's a better football program than Ohio State. They're not. That's just, and when you ask the question, is it good for the is it good? I don't know that there's anything wrong with, like, the conference sending the same team every year. As long as they're getting into the playoff, that's all the conference I think cares about.
The conference gets money from
Yeah. So as long as one of their teams is in, I don't know that they really care if there's balance. But the other thing too is that, like, when you look at this rivalry, Michigan still holds an 8-game lead over Ohio State. So even as bad and as lopsided as it's been over the 20 years, it's kind of been a leveling out process that's been good for the rivalry as a whole, because it's getting closer and closer every year, which I think is more exciting than anything.
And last week, I was in here with my Ohio State gear. You had your Michigan gear on, and we were talking, and Josh kind of exclaimed, I'm surprised there's not more trash talk. And regardless of us going in as favorites, like, this is college football.
Yeah.
You never know. Anything can happen, even more so than the NFL, I feel like. There's so much, the tide was going to turn at some point.
Yeah.
That was a rough one to lose. It really was. But, it happened.
The thing is, like, people are going to say, oh, the weather played a factor in it, and maybe it did it, maybe it didn't, but because Ohio State is more of a throw-first style offense, whereas, yeah, Michigan has been passing the ball more, but I still feel like they're a run-first offense.
We're a run-first and run-only offense.
Stroud's an LA guy,
yeah,
too.
well, here's the thing. Stroud threw for 400 yards. He wasn't limited in the passing game. That's why I don't accept the weather thing as
our defense was crap.
Yeah, it's Ohio State has a defense that just didn't show up.
And we didn't stop the run for sure.
Here's my take from what happened. Okay, they were an undisciplined team. They committed way too many penalties.
Yeah.
Okay, they were underprepared because they were.
Mm-hmm.
They were out physical because they were.
Yep.
What I'm not going to do is to see what a lot of people do on the internet and blame the refs or blame the weather, because that's what poverty fan bases do. And I saw some poverty fan bases still trying to say a certain quarterback was short a couple years ago. But
he was.
A different story. He was not. He was not. The line does not lie, my friend.
Yes, it did.
It does not.
Agree to disagree on that one,
But blaming the refs is what poverty fans do.
Yeah, I still don't blame the refs for us losing that game, but I do think he was short. But yeah, that's not the reason we lost. We lost the game for a combination of other things. I don't think that one play is as big as everybody hangs their hat on. Is what I'm saying.
You still see people.
Yeah. I'm with you. I hate that. It drives me crazy. I'm not going to do it either.
Ohio State didn't deserve to win that game.
Right, and the other thing I'm not going to do is after my team got waxed for 8 years in a row is come in here and then talk like all of a sudden we're a better football program. Like, it's just crazy.
Right.
You know? So it's like, for me, I'm glad we won. With what you were saying, for my personal stake, I want the rivalry to be more competitive. Like, I definitely do. So I'm just encouraged that at least we got a win, and hopefully it brings some more 5-star recruits to Michigan, and they can start to try to compete year in and year out. But I'm not ready to say that Harbaugh has this thing turned around and that we're going to win again next year. I think that's reasonable to say.
Because Harbaugh has done so well with 5-star recruits.
Right.
Before.
Exactly.
So
he's not good at
No. Two things. First, by no means was I trying to insinuate that the weather is the reason Michigan won. It certainly wasn't. And number two, I think Harbaugh winning this game saved his hiney.
I mean, he was going to stay no matter what.
I don't know about that one.
He got extended. His contract was extended.
Yeah, but here's my thing.
He took a pay cut to stay. If he was going to go, he would have been gone. Nobody in their right mind is going to take a pay cut when they can leave for a job that's going to pay them more money unless they really want to be there long term. He's not going anywhere.
Here's my thing. When you become a coach at a certain program, the objectives are different. Like we talked about this on the sports room the other night. Subscribe to Hunger to the Max. Yes, I plugged myself, but whatever. When you get hired to be the coach of a program like Ohio State, the objective is to win the Big Ten, get to the college football playoff, win the national championship, right? But if you get hired to a program like Michigan, I feel like the main objective is to beat your biggest rivals, Ohio State, Michigan State. Harbaugh has not done that.
Well, he just did.
He did.
So.
I'm saying before Saturday.
Yeah, but he already lost 5 straight to Ohio State and didn't get fired. He got extended. That's my point. They went 0-5. So because I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying. But he already has been terrible against his rivals, and they extended him. So he's never going anywhere.
He's he's good for business.
Yes. Okay? He's very good for business.
He's good for business. He's good for ticket sales. He's good for selling merchandise. Good for expanding the brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to a point, just a little bit, Michigan was, I don't want to say fine with losing, but more fine with accepting what he is as a positive versus what he is as a negative.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, again, like what you said, certain programs have different goals.
Right.
Their goal was just be good for business because they don't really see or vision a actual long-term path towards being better than Ohio State at this moment in time.
And then real quick before break, I do want to mention too that Harbaugh, he did take a pay cut. He's making about half of what he was before. A lot of incentive-laden deals went into it. He has already came out and stated that any bonus money that he earns this season from the success of the team, he's donating to the administration, athletic department, to anybody in the athletic department that took a pay cut due to COVID-19. So any money he makes from beating Ohio State, winning the Big Ten, making the playoff, he's donating it back to the university. So he's there to stay. He's their guy. He loves us. We love him. It's just, it didn't matter. If he could have lost, and he would have been right there.
And more often than not, Ohio State fans love him too because he
that's
is
fair.
1-5. But with that, we got to head to a break. We come back. We have your 2 minutes of hockey and quiz time. So stick around.
Quiz time.
Hey, there he is. How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand or what?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you okay?
I'm having a stroke.
Your face looks weird too.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you having a seizure or something?
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear.
I'm having a stroke.
You just need to know the sudden signs. Look for FAST, F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. Or S, speech difficulty. Then T, time. Time to call 911 immediately, because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Know the sudden signs. Face, arm, speech, time. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
As Bruce Wayne once said,
a hero can be anyone, even a man doing something as simple and reassuring as putting a coat around a little boy's shoulder to let him know that he isn't alone in the world.
Do you feel that with great power comes great responsibility? Are you interested in changing kids' lives by giving them hope? Then perhaps you should consider being a hero. Superheroes to Kids in Ohio continues to make costume visits to children's hospitals, special needs centers, and various charitable events whenever they are needed, all in an attempt to bring a few smiles to kids and people in need of hope. You can find out more at superheroes2kidsinOhio.com.
Hi, everyone. Al Roker here. As a guy with his own catchphrase, I appreciate that after 75 years, Smokey's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But I'm filling in because there's a lot more to report. Like when it's dry or windy. Be careful burning yard waste, because wildfires can even start in your neck of the woods. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
So what's the catch on All Sports Cleveland? Trying to stump James for over 6 months and failing. But hope springs eternal. It's Kramer quiz time.
All right, so we are back here on So What's the Catch? And last week I promised you that I would give you the results of what happened at the Unger Thanksgiving Air Hockey Tournament as well as the Unger Thanksgiving Ping Pong Tournament. As far as the Air Hockey Tournament goes, your winner and still the reigning defending Air Hockey Champion, third time, yours truly. And then in the ping pong tournament, my cousin Aaron Shafron won it for like, I don't know how many times.
It's great last name.
They should have customized a championship belt.
Yeah, I should make a customized Air Hockey Championship belt for myself.
I agree. You guys need belts in the future.
We actually,
wrestling type.
for the ping pong tournament, we actually have a official trophy.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm working on that for the air hockey. But as far as the Cleveland Monsters going to hockey, in the North Division, my mouse isn't working, so I have to hit the down key. But they are second in the North Division. They are 9-3-2-3. They have 23 points on the season. And this weekend, they host the Milwaukee Admirals, who are the affiliate of the Nashville Predators, who just so happened to destroy the Columbus Blue Jackets last night 6-0. And the Blue Jackets right now are in 5th place in the Metropolitan Division. They are 12-8-0, and they have 24 points. There you go.
And then quick Pittsburgh Penguins update. Penguins have been inconsistent as of late, as they've kind of been the story of their whole year, but they've getting some guys back healthy. It's nice to have Crosby back out there. We have lost 2 in a row, hovering right around the middle of the division right now, rankings-wise. But Malkin's been skating and looking good at practice. He'll be back on the ice shortly for the Penguins. Once he returns, I do expect things to start moving back into the right direction. So, yeah, Penguins need to just weather the storm for a little bit longer.
All right, and now it is quiz time, and we will get to Kramer quiz, but first we have my 7 questions. It's an increase from 5 to 7 this time.
Well, you better get started then.
All right. So, what Chicago Bears running back was known as the Galloping Ghost?
Gale Sayers.
Rashad Salam.
Sorry, I gotta scroll all the way to the bottom. It's annoying with
James,
this.
I don't know if you remember that name.
I remember.
Rest in peace.
No, it was Harold Grange.
Harold Grange.
Yeah.
You asked a question, no, but you clearly knew none of us would know the answer to because you only let 2 of us answer. You didn't give everybody a chance to answer.
I get it right.
No.
It was Red Grange.
He might have known.
What?
I definitely knew.
What NFL player returned a fumble 66 yards to the wrong end zone?
Jim Marshall.
Yes. All right. Who was the only person in NBA history to be named Most Valuable Player, Coach of the Year, and Executive of the Year?
Jerry West.
Okay. Anybody else have a guess?
Bird.
Jerry West, Larry Bird.
Jerry East.
It is, in fact, Larry Bird.
Yeah.
I got it.
Nice.
All right. Let me just scroll back on up because my mouse is not working, so I actually have to use the physical keyboard, which makes it more annoying, but whatever. Next up, what coach came off the bench to play for his team in the Stanley Cup Finals?
Oof, don't know.
When?
Don't know the year.
I have no freaking idea.
No idea.
I don't know, Gordie Howe.
Yeah.
No, it was Lester Patrick.
And we have no idea what year, what team, anything. No information on it. Just that.
When I looked at it on the website, it didn't give me that.
Okay.
What MLB player retired with the same number of home runs as his father?
King
Prince
Griffey.
Fielder.
Yes, it is Prince Fielder.
Yeah.
Okay. What NFL player debuted as a professional wrestler in 2004?
What NFL player?
Yes.
Bill Goldberg.
No.
I don't know.
Brock Lesnar.
It was Bryan Urlacher.
No.
Urlacher was a wrestler?
Wow, I didn't know that.
I didn't know he wrestled.
Yeah, he was in TNA, wasn't he?
I'm pretty sure. And then last one. All right. What college football position receives the Jim Thorpe Award?
That's for the punter.
Nope.
Defensive end.
Close. It is defensive back.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, on to the real quiz.
Yeah.
Hey!
Before we get to the real quiz, let's do the Berserker of the Week.
All right, just hit
Hurry up.
All right.
Drum roll.
No, you don't get a jump.
Just do it so that he goes.
All right. So the Berserker
He
of
still
the
doesn't
week
have it. He's still thinking of it.
is Lowry
yet.
Markkinen for improving his game.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God.
I know James is mad about
That
that.
was Lowry Markkinen shooting a 3.
You were no Kobe.
All right.
On to the real quiz.
Yeah.
This week's NFL.
What is my quiz fake?
Your quiz was
Stolen.
Stolen, basically.
Stolen valor.
Where did the 2017 NFL first-round draft pick Mitchell Trubisky play college ball?
North Carolina.
Just get everybody on that.
I think all of us
That was
were
a little
kind of.
bit. I can't even.
Let's just have everyone on that one.
Everybody gets
Everybody gets 1 point.
Okay.
I like it.
Because I couldn't hear. I couldn't even.
Everybody knew.
Yeah, North
couldn't
Carolina.
That was an easy one.
He went to Mentor for high school.
What is
Yeah,
Bill
he did.
Parcells' nickname?
Tuna.
Tuna. Big
Not-
tuna. The big tuna.
The Big Tuna. Gotta give it to Jay or Bryan.
Give me points.
3 points.
He's only giving that to me because you win every week. So let's.
I am, to be honest. In 2013, Chip Kelly debuted as head coach for
Philadelphia Eagles.
James. That was unfortunately James.
Dang.
Who was the head coach of the Oakland Raiders for just one season?
Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson.
Good one,
In
sure.
2011 would have been the rest of the question, but
Yeah.
As he should have been.
What team hired Matt Patricia as their head coach?
Lions.
Yeah, Lions.
James got that one.
Who won the AP Offensive Player of the Year award for the 2011 NFL season?
The AP
Offensive Player of the Year 2011.
Was it AP?
No.
That would have been funny, but no.
So is this NFL or college or
NFL?
NFL, okay. Yeah. NFL Offensive Player of the Year 2011.
This is tough.
So just do away with all the details.
Chris Johnson.
Think of it like this: who do you think the best offensive player of 2011 was? No.
Megatron.
No.
Tom Brady.
No.
I already said mine.
No idea.
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
I was thinking Chris Johnson. I'm glad you said it.
Yeah.
What place in the AFC East did the Buffalo Bills finish in 2008?
Last.
Yes. Yep. Fourth, last. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What team hired Matt Nagy?
Bears.
James again.
That was the whole question? I was waiting for the rest of the question.
That was the question.
That was it. What team hired Matt Nagy?
Wait, we tied at like the same time.
I heard James first.
Oh, that's BS.
Who won the AP Coach of the Year award for the 2011 NFL season?
Sean Payton.
No.
Oh, that was a good guess. It's the Drew Brees winning AP. 2011.
Mike McCarthy.
Coach of the Year in 2011? No.
Tom.
No. Just no.
Tom.
Belichick.
No. Any last guesses?
No, I was going to guess one of the Toms. I was going to guess that's the one, but...
Jim Harbaugh.
Oh!
Oh, with the 49ers. That's
Sneaky,
right.
sneaky.
I thought you would've got that.
I didn't think of him being in San Fran,
your
yeah.
favorite coach, Bryan.
Good Lord, your unread emails are giving me anxiety.
I have 27,197 on
What team hired Frank Reich as their head coach?
Colts.
Jeez.
That was the Colts.
Wow.
We got a 4 for James, 3 for Bryan, 2 for Josh, 2 for Churk, 1 for Zach.
I feel like I need to go home and study up on sports history.
I feel that way every week.
The entire week.
Drew Brees broke which of these quarterbacks' records of 48 consecutive games with a touchdown?
Yards.
It was an old record, I'll give you that much.
Yards.
That's not a. That's,
it's a player's name, Churk.
I'm going to go with Joe
Otto
Namath.
Graham.
What was that?
Joe Namath.
No.
Otto Graham.
No. Good guess. But
That is a good guess.
I'm going to go with Brett Favre.
way back.
he said old players. So,
Joe Namath?
Peyton
no.
Manning.
No.
If it wasn't Brett Favre, it's not going to be Peyton Manning.
Roger Staubach.
Johnny Unitas.
Oh.
Johnny U.
Going back to 2011, this quiz had to have come out in 2012.
Yeah.
Which player won the most FedEx Air QB of the Week award? So let's just say, who do you think is the best QB from the 2011 NFL season?
Drew Brees.
No.
But he won AP
I know,
Player.
but he did not win FedEx's Air
FedEx
QB of the Week award.
Dang it.
Was it Ryan Fitzpatrick?
No.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, he was the
Josh is
MVP
good
of that
at
season,
this.
I believe.
He is.
He can be both.
Josh is sneaky good.
All right, let's find some good ones. Who was fired as head coach of the Jaguars in November of 2011?
Was that Del Rio?
That was Del Rio.
Wow.
Bang!
Good pull. Good pull, guys.
Josh
Jake got
coming
that
in
too.
with a tie with James right now.
Del Rio, I didn't say Jack.
Bryan, you're back one.
I know.
In 2000, the year 2000, Steve McNair made the NFL Pro Bowl from which team?
Tennessee Titans.
It's Titans.
I said Tennessee
to Aaron
Titans.
McNair.
You did say the full
I heard
name.
James first.
I heard Bryan first.
But I got to accept Titans.
I made a
I
business
said
decision.
Tennessee.
I made a business decision.
I got to
Say all
accept
words.
Titans. I would have accepted that for
Yeah.
any other question.
I gotta stop. Yeah, you can't say the full city.
Yeah,
or
that's
state.
my fault. I'll take ownership of that. That's my fault. I
Same with what I did when I said Philadelphia.
There's a couple more, though. We still got a few more. Who was named AP Coach of the Year for the 2014 NFL season?
Tom Coughlin.
No.
Pete Carroll.
No.
Ron Rivera.
No.
Churk.
Any guesses, Zach?
I'm trying to think about who made the conference championship.
Mm-hmm.
2014.
Was it 2014? Would that be?
Tick Tick,
Would it
tick,
be,
tick,
uh,
tick, 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 tick.
No, Bruce Arians.
Okay.
With the Cardinals, right.
What Denver player was named as the team's Walter Payton Man of the Year for 2015?
Von Miller.
No.
DeMarcus
For
Ware.
2015?
No.
For 2015?
Yes.
Peyton Manning.
No.
Dang it.
Aqib Talib.
No. David Bruton.
Old David Bruton.
That's not a name I knew, so.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Never heard of him.
But
Must
we
be a
have
good guy.
We got two more.
Okay.
What is a nickname that DeAndre Hopkins is known by?
Nuke. Yeah, he got that one.
Yeah, it's a Jameser. And last but not least, how many games was Jameis Winston suspended for at the start of the 18 NFL season?
4.
No.
2.
No.
3.
3.
Dang it.
James wins by 1.
Of course he
Good game.
does. Gosh dang it.
That was a close one, but James won by 1.
That was.
I mean, I was going to win. I am Thanos. I am inevitable.
No, I had you on the run for a little bit.
But
He's Cristiano in the Champions League. He is
point is,
inevitable.
We shall try again next week.
He's
I'll try and come up with easier questions for next week myself.
the point of saying I'm inevitable is it's inevitable going to win.
What you could do is create your own segment that's not the exact same as Jeremy's.
I mean, in theory. Anyways, it's been real. It's been fun. It has not been real fun, but it's been real and fun. And that's pretty much it for this week, ain't it, boys?
Yep, it is.
Anything you want to plug?
Follow
Yeah.
us at So What's the Catch?
Oh, yeah.
The YouTube channel.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Let's Catch YouTube channel.
Subscribe to So What's the Catch on YouTube. This episode should be up by probably tomorrow at some point.
Also subscribe to our channel on Spotify so that you can get the podcast version, audio version, as soon as we post that as well.
Yes, and subscribe to this channel on Anchor as well.
And on Facebook, if you haven't liked the So What's the Catch page on Facebook, make sure you like and follow that. Me and Josh go live on Wednesdays during class, too, so we do a little show before the show. So if you want 2 shows on Wednesdays, make sure you like our Facebook page.
The only thing with Anchor is it goes by the Sports Room, not So What's the Catch.
So, with all of that information, I hope you wrote that all down. We will be back next week, and we are
out.
And thank you for tuning in to another episode of So What's the Catch. Join us next week for more hot takes and very interesting conversation, to say the least. So yeah, follow us on our social media platforms, and yeah, go Brownies.
Lining up in the shotgun, 3 receivers wide left, 1 wide right. And he's going to throw it long again for Tony. This time over the shoulder, and Tony brings it in, runs into the end zone. That's a touchdown for the Young.
Fumble snap there, losing a football. It's going to be huge in the end zone, and it's going to